Then we go to Elimination Chamber. And my friends, as the great Jim Lampley said, it happened. It happened. It actually happened for the past, I don't know, what? 15, 16, 17 years? Fans have been asking, would John Cena turn heel? Would he actually turn heel? And there it was in Toronto at the Rogers Center, formerly known as the Sky Dome. John Cena, Elimination Chamber, in his final year as an active wrestler, which I never really believed, by the way, because who actually retires and sticks to it in pro wrestling? But here he is at 47 years young, Elimination Chamber, looking to punch his ticket to WrestleMania for one last go, going up against his old mate, CM Punk. Great scenes here. They've been going back and forth for well over a decade. He wins the match. He punches his ticket. That means he's going up against Cody Rhodes. Night 2, WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes appears. I don't know who the old guy is to his left, but shout out to him. Cody appears, well dressed to the nines, as per. They have a back and forth. And then who appears? The final boss, the Brahma Bull. Rocky Maivia, a.k.a. Dwayne, a.k.a. The Rock, flanked by Cactus Jack himself. No, not Mick Foley, Travis freaking Scott. Now I'm watching this in bed. Truth be told, Mauro Ranallo on the PBC broadcast tips me off. He mentions John Cena and what he's about to do on the broadcast, so I go back to it. I thought the show was over. And I'm lying in bed with my son. He was the only one at home. Siblings were out for sleepovers, so we let him sleep in our bed. And you know what his biggest reaction was? Travis Scott. He only cared about Travis Scott in this equation. He thought that was the coolest part. The Rock asks Cena, The Rock asks Cody Rhodes, what's your answer? Are you coming? Are you coming to the dark side? Are you going to let me own your soul? I want your soul. You know what Cody Rhodes said? PT, did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
Go fuck yourself. He said it. He said, go fuck yourself. God. And then The Rock was pissed. And then what happened? What happened? Cena and Cody Rhodes embrace. And then it all changed. The look. And then Rock does this weird thing where he slits his throat all weird with 2 fingers. I don't know. People are saying it's a callback. I don't know what that was all about. Cena hits him in the balls. He beats him up. He takes the Rolex. And it's an unbelievable, surreal scene involving John Cena finally turning heel. We've never seen this out of him. Certainly not, in the Jorts era. Maybe pre-Jorts. The final boss kicking the crap out of Cody Rhodes with the belt, making him bleed. And Travis freaking Scott himself really laying it on Cody Rhodes. Potatoing him all over the gaff. Look at this. Bang! Right to the face. Look at this from Travis Scott. Hey, Travis, pull those punches. Oh, he's going to get it. And then it's iconic scenes. It's NWO 2025. Or as our good friend Mark Raimondi put it, NWO Hollywood. Cena, Rock, and T. Scott. Incredible. Now, there's been a lot of talk afterwards. Now, this is serious. This is actually from the heart.
Okay.
Is this the greatest heel turn? Is this the greatest heel turn in wrestling history? Is this bigger than Hogan joining forces with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash in 1996, Bash at the Beach in July, and forming the NWO? Is this bigger than that?
I don't think anybody here other than you is qualified to speak on that part, but
I have a very strong take.
This is what I will say.
Yes.
In my I'm not as versed, but because we know this is the end, that takes away from it for me. Because we know there's a limited time that this will be happening, right?
Yes.
We know that this is the going away tour. That detracts from it for me because it's okay, we're giving this to you on the way out. But when Hogan joins the NWO or any of these other big heel turns, who knows? That could be the next decade of the company. The Hogan NWO era was massive and huge and went for a while, and you didn't know when that was going to end. To me, that takes away from it. And so I can't definitively say that.
Okay, now here's the thing. Hogan was about 43 when that happened, Cena 47. Now, again, I don't really believe that he's actually going to stop wrestling in 10 months, but let's just
so you don't think this is the real goodbye?
Heels lie. Here's the thing. This whole thing. This whole thing has been a year in the making. Here's the final take on it. The final take is this wasn't better and it wasn't bigger than Hogan. Hogan turning was seismic. Yeah. Hogan turning was something we never thought we would see. In fact, no one was really even calling for it. Like the act was getting a little bit stale in WCW, but no one was calling for it as we have been calling for Cena to do it in so long. I've said on this show, I have found the Cena act to be stale. The guy's almost 50 years old. He's still wearing the same jorts that he was wearing back in 2007. Like the whole thing needed to evolve. The whole gimmick needed to evolve. And so we have been asking and longing for it. Now I'm all in. Now I can't wait. Now I can't wait to see what he says, how he acts, all that stuff and more. The Hogan thing changed an industry. The Hogan thing was a part of the Monday Night War. The Hogan thing helped propel WCW to start beating WWF at the time for 83 straight weeks in the ratings. It changed everything. It led to WWF changing its approach and the Attitude Era and Bret screwed Bret and all this stuff. Hogan thing will never be matched. And that, by saying that, sounds like it's taking something away from what happened on Saturday. It is not. Because what happened on Saturday is the last of its kind. We will never see a heel turn like that in wrestling again. Because right now in wrestling, there's a gray area. People come in and out of character. Everyone who's a star has already been a heel. Everyone who's a heel has already been a babyface. We will never have someone last this long as a babyface. It will never, ever happen again. Mark my words. There will never be someone in wrestling who will be a babyface for 15, 16, 17 years and have this type of impact. So this is the last of its kind. The difference is it doesn't change the industry like Hogan did. And I'm only bringing this up to just explain the two because I understand I was getting it. Actually, I was debating this with Tim Simpson, who's a gigantic wrestling fan. And he was saying that I was crazy for feeling this way. But then my obvious question was, were you around for Hogan? And he wasn't. He's a little bit younger than I am. If you were around for the Hogan thing, you realize that was seismic. That changed the industry. That changed what WWF did. That changed what WCW did. This doesn't change what AEW is doing. And it is an amazing storyline. And now all of a sudden, what felt like a bit of a stale WrestleMania season run all of a sudden feels even better than last year. And then all of a sudden you start thinking back to the little nuggets dropped back in Philadelphia last year and throughout the year, and it all starts to make sense. And it's incredible theater and it's cinema, and WWE has never, at least in the last few years, I will say, they have never felt so close to the mainstream. Drake is in freaking attendance. Travis Scott, like I said, my kids are more excited about Travis Scott's involvement in this angle than anything else. They think he is the coolest. And I'll be honest, like I'm wondering what's he got to do with it? Like he just kind of showed up, but that's going to keep me watching and that's going to bring in younger kids who adore him, who are in their teens. It's all brilliant. But if we're going to have the debate, the Hogan one was bigger. The Hogan one was more shocking. This was incredible. This was fun. There is no loser, but if I have to weigh in on one, the Hogan one was bigger. This is unique because it will never happen again. Mark my words. There will never be a babyface for over a decade turn heel in this type of shocking manner. Does that make sense? It will never happen because people are coming in and out all day long, and everyone who's a heel has been a face, and everyone who's a face has been a heel. Cena was the last. There was no one else. And for him to do it in his final year is pretty damn amazing. I freaking love it.
It's pretty incredible. But to the point, like, it's also a version of, right? The Hogan is like the moment, and this is like when you first see the Sixth Sense, that twist, it's like, holy shit. Years later, now everybody's done a twist. You kind of can expect and have seen it coming. The original is always the one.
Yeah. It's
does it have the potential to change, Ariel? Because obviously you're saying you're looking back on the Hogan thing, and we know Monday Night Wars, that played out over a long distance of time. Like, is there any way that this could have that kind of change across the whole industry? Like, you know, the Cena one in comparison to Hogan? Because obviously when Hogan did that spray paint, all that stuff, it was playing out over years and months with the Monday Night Wars and stuff. Is there any way this one could have the same amount of change?
No, because the change isn't there to be had. The change isn't there to be had. The industry isn't what it was back in the 90s. It could be huge. It's going to be big box office. It's going to be fascinating theater. But and maybe it's unfair for me to say, but the change just isn't there to be had. If this was happening in AEW and this helps propel them, then you could start to compare it. But WWE is so far ahead right now. You know, they're cooking with Crisco. They're cooking with gas. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.